welcome to your day off. My name is Corey. I'm going to sit with my best bud, Tone. What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
So I'm super excited about this conversation. We're doing our first roundtable, which is really rad, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man. And so we're going to have actually 6 guests today, but we're going to introduce you,
4.
We're going to have 4 plus us 2. Plus us
Yeah, we don't count, though.
No. We're not our own guests, right?
No.
Or are we? I don't know. So we're going to open up today and introduce you to 3 people, and then we're going to have somebody join us a little bit later.
But we are day 3.
Day 3 at Premiere, so any kind of noise, any kind of jazz that you hear, that it'll be, because we're at day 3 at Premiere Orlando.
Yeah, and today's
been a killer weekend, too.
100%, man. It's been an amazing, amazing weekend. But today's topic is about what the heck is going on up north here. And
I know. So all of our artists today, and this is super special, I think. All of our artists today are from Jacksonville, Florida. And, like, it's so funny. Like, I didn't even know that there was this thing in Jacksonville, but then I started following all these incredible artists, and you're like, oh, shit, you're from Jacksonville, too? Like, it's always, oh, shit, you're from Jacksonville, too, right?
Right.
And it's not just like...
Maybe we should change it instead of what's in the water in Jacksonville to...
Oh, shit, you're from Jacksonville, too?
Right.
I think I kind of like that. We might end up doing that.
Right.
It might be an edit change later. So, I mean, let's get into it real quick because, we don't have a lot of time. So, sitting at the table today, we have Casey Powell, Miss Updo Guru, who also worked with us at Presley Poe and Friends. So, she's become a dear friend. We have... Miss Sarajane. Sarajane also worked with us at might be a NAHA award winner. Sarajane also worked with us with Presley Poe and Friends, so she's become a dear friend too. And actually this weekend, somebody that I've been talking to for, I don't know, probably about a year or so, and that's the amazing Sammy Skinner. And guess where Sammy Skinner's from? From Jacksonville, Florida.
Of course.
Of
I
course
think that's where they're all coming from now. It's like
seriously.
they have like a little hairdresser breeding facility up there, right? Like,
I know, right?
That kind of came out wrong, but like we sort of, I should have said hairdresser, like puppy mills type thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
But anyway, sorry.
It's so crazy. So
hope I didn't offend anybody, but
I hope
I
not.
probably have.
So Sarajane, kind of tell us about, just real quick, like what's your Instagram handle and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Sarajane, and I'm from Jacksonville. Oh shit, we're from Jacksonville.
Love it.
And my handle is Blush and Mane. At Blush and Mane on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, all that good stuff. And I'm sitting with 2 of my favorite artists of all time, and this is amazing. And
so cool.
I love you guys for having us.
We love you too.
Yeah.
What's up, Miss Casey Powell?
Huge fans.
How you doing, guys?
Awesome. So I introduced you a little bit, but just kind of give us your handle and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you've introduced me several times on the podcasts.
I know.
I'm happy to finally be on here.
Isn't that crazy though?
It is.
Yeah. It's so cool.
It's happening now.
Actually, Casey, we met exactly a year ago, right? Might be the same
yeah,
date.
it's our friend-iversary.
It is our friend-iversary. It totally is. So we were in the same press room, and Casey came up to say hello. And she was a little bit of a wallflower. She's a little less of a wallflower now. But so in the last
Just
year...
a little shy and odd. Then it grows on you.
Like
and
a virus.
You're stuck with me.
Then you're stuck forever. And that's a true story. So, dude, but you're not from Jacksonville, right? You weren't born there?
No, I was born in Charleston, but my dad was in the Navy, so we moved to Jacksonville, and then he retired there, and I've been there ever since.
That's cool. Miss Sammy Skinner. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome to. First of all you guys, welcome to your day off.
I'm like, oh, where are you from too?
Oh shit, from Jacksonville.
Uh-huh.
My handle is Sammy Skinner Hair, and I'm just really excited to be here. I've known both of them I've known Sarah for forever.
That's such a rock and roll name. Man,
Sammy Skinner?
Oh
Sammy
my
Skinner?
gosh.
Yeah, Miss
She's
Skinner.
got a good one.
I hated it growing up, but now I love it, and it's so easy, so I don't even think when I get married I'm going to change it. It's just too easy.
It's also like becomes your brand, right? It's like me shaving, bro. I can't even shave anymore.
No, you cannot.
Like everybody knows me as the beard.
Your silhouette.
Right.
I noticed that.
I think that's my like that'll be my logo, like on my like shampoo bowl or something.
Yes.
Just all beard. That's so cool. So guys, what the hell's going on in Jacksonville, Florida?
It's blowing up, man.
Yeah. What I think is great is we have like a really good community of collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
We all just love to get together and work together instead of that competition. We love to collaborate. You know, Sammy will do a fun color and we're like, do you want to braid it?
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah, I want to braid it. You know,
Yeah.
send her over.
Send them on over. I think, and it's social media is cool too, because a lot of us wouldn't have known each other if it wasn't for social media.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely brought us all together because I had never met you before, Sammy, but seeing all of your stuff on Instagram and just being blown away and wanting to know more than getting to see you at all the shows.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun.
I know. It's been great.
And I like we had the privilege of talking to Erica Keelan earlier this week, and like it seems like that she's kind of bringing a lot of the artists together, and not only that, but I mean, you know, who's missing from the table is a slew of other artists. I mean, Erica's missing from the table.
Mm-hmm.
Darina's missing from the table.
Yes.
You know, and like I said, all the time I'm like, oh my gosh, another killer from Jacksonville.
Well, I think
you know?
Erica's created a great space for everyone to come together, and she's so welcoming and excited and is happy to come in any day ever to just create.
But how did you find Erica? I mean, how did you guys find Sage, and how did you guys find each other?
Well, I think Sarajane and Erica connected from social media.
Yeah, it was all social. So she noticed that I was in Modern Salon, and she was like, oh my God, this girl's local. We got to hook up. And she DM'd me on Instagram. She said, hey, are you going to be at the BTC show? And I said, I am. And she's like, let's hook up. And we actually didn't have a chance to really talk much, but we got coffee later that week. She asked me what my goals were, and the rest is history. And then I was like, I have my mentor, Casey, who's basically mentored me since the very beginning. I was like, you have to have her come in here. She's wonderful. She's an amazing artist. And so it's just kind of like the snowball effect or domino effect, if you will. Like, well, let's get Sammy in here. Let's get her in here. Let's have a hair date. Let's braid each other's hair, do each other's hair. And then it just happens.
So do you guys all work at Sage?
No.
No, we're all at different salons. And I knew Sarah. We've known each other for probably 10 years now.
Yeah. Sammy was a big reason I even went to hair school.
Yeah, and I used to do your hair a long time ago, and then we ended up reconnecting and just kind of like rekindling things. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of blown away by this because all three of you guys work at different locations, but what's most interesting is that you guys there's no like pressure not to collaborate. Like the pressure is to collaborate. You know, like when we were growing up, it's like, you know, you always kind of like look down your nose to all the salons across the street and stuff. And it's just so nice to see that whatever's going on in Jacksonville, I think we can give a little credit to Erica,
We want to lift
right?
everybody
Of course.
up.
Right.
We don't have any
Absolutely.
room for like snarky competition. That's just
No.
not even cool.
no,
Yeah.
not at all.
We're always so excited to be like, look what we're doing. You know, Sammy, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what color are you doing this week? Or Casey's like, what competition are you entering? And we show each other our
Send me
work.
the
We work
pictures now. I
together.
want to see everything you're doing.
I want to like run things.
I
by
wanna get on
Sarah a lot,
board.
too. I'm like,
That's
what do you
beautiful.
think?
It's everybody sharing, not hoarding. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
no
trying
way.
That's incredible. I
You
mean,
get-
what
to.
an incredible
you get.
environment.
Just walked in.
Exactly. You get what you
get
give.
what you get. What you give.
That's
the more you
incredible.
give, the more you get. You know.
That's awesome. Hey, ladies. So we talked about her. We kind of teased it at the beginning, and we said that we're going to have a special guest join us. And so for all the listeners, we are very honored and very pleased, I guess, to introduce
The big fish of Jacksonville.
I know,
in
maybe-
the water of Jacksonville, right?
I hope they've heard of him. So sitting at our table and who just joined our table is Mr. Sam Villa, who also lives in Jacksonville, Florida. So welcome to your day off, Sam.
Well, it's not my day off, but I'm happy to be here. Initially, it's a day off.
What's a day off?
Yes, exactly. What's a lunch hour to a hairdresser? But it's an honor and a pleasure to be sitting here, especially with this Jacksonville talent.
What's happened there, Sam?
I don't know. You know what? When people ask me, where are you from? Jacksonville. And they kind of look at me with this big face and they're just like, you're from Jacksonville? What happened to New York? It's so cool that you don't need to be in a big city.
Right.
And with what's happening social is just really broaden the scope of how much talent there really is in the industry. And that's so important to recognize that talent.
Bro, you hit it right there because I remember getting on Instagram, like everybody's getting on Instagram, and like, what an intimidating thing. You open it up and like, you go, holy cow, there's so much talent. You know, you just assumed, or before you assumed that all the great artists were either in New York or LA, and then Instagram opens up and you're like, holy crap, people can do hair. You know what I mean? And it was almost intimidating for me. You know what I mean? But what a great thing for our industry.
Well, there's definitely some talented hands out there, and I think the most important thing in life today is people need gratitude, and social has given the opportunity for people to receive the gratitude that they probably thought that they would never have.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That's incredible. even with the gratitude and like just there's so many more like faces in our industry, right? If we rewind like 10 years or even 5 years ago or a little bit before that, you know, I know growing up, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, is that we'd go and see Sam Villa on stage, and we really wouldn't see Sam Villa until the next year at the same event. You know, now what social media has done is it's let us all connect, and within that connection, now we go like, oh God, there's this guy with dreadlocks in LA named Philip Wolf who's killing it. You know, now we have Sammy Skinner who's killing it, and
now I can see Sam Villa every day if I want to see
Every
Sam.
day.
Exactly.
What's great about it is I'll watch Sammy over here, and I learn. And I'm like, okay, I want to learn how to do that. I want to try and do that. So there's so much inspiration going on. And I really believe that people say, well, and it's easy to happen. Well, where did you learn that? And look, I'm a messenger. I'm not an inventor. You know, I'll go find the talent and I'll try and call it copy, but I don't call it copy. I call it being inspired. So all three of these ladies have inspired me in a technique one way or another, or I try to do what I see and I'll say, oh, wow. Okay, I get it. But you break it down, and it just creates a great sense of enthusiasm of learning. And I really believe as a teacher, I must never cease to learn.
That's amazing. It's pretty incredible, too. Because of all that work, it can only inspire you, right? You can only build on it. And for the industry as a whole, I know there's a lot of, like, negative about social media, but I think for our industry, we can get past that, or we can get through that, I should say, because, you know, when Casey does her thing, like, how are you not inspired and be like, well, and then for me, I'm excited because I'm like, where the hell does that evolve to? Because that's incredible what she's doing, you know, and like, how does that evolve? And then, you know, and then what happens is then Sammy Skinner does something and you're like, oh, look at that evolution.
Yeah, it's so exciting to see where people take things that you put out there and what they do with it. And I think it's really important to just be really supportive and be a cheerleader for everyone. Like,
so let's
go do everything I did. I want to see how you interpret it.
So what have you seen? Like, so for those that are listening, if you're not following Updo Guru, pause, follow Updo Guru, go through her feed, and then push play now. So Casey, how have you seen? So again, Casey does these amazing bobby pin sculptures. Like, how have you seen like that kind of evolve? Because you were the first person that I saw that actually kind of like stood the hair on end.
Yeah, I like making it stand up and really using that. You know, I think that when I see people take the bobby pins and how I've been sculpting with them and then combine them with different textures,
right.
I think Jay Braids and Bows, she took kind of classic Hollywood set with these big S waves and then just put the bobby pins in the bins of them and fanned them out. And I loved how easy and wearable that was. And I was so inspired by her. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to go try that now.
That's so, and did you try it?
Oh, yeah.
And was it rad?
Yes.
That's so cool, man.
It was such a good take on it.
That's so cool. And I mean, with Sarajane and with Sam here, like, we've got like braid royalty, bro.
Yeah.
You know, braid royalty. So, Sarajane. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Sarajane, Miss NAHA award winner for braids and stuff.
So whenever that still doesn't feel right, you know, that's the
NAHA
that
part,
just
or?
Sounds so crazy. You know,
right?
You work so hard, and you know, a hairstylist work years and years and years, and it's just an amazing. That is an amazing thing that I still haven't gotten used to yet. Quite.
Right.
But as far as Casey's a huge inspiration to me. She's the one who told me not to stop doing hair. Probably 6 years ago. I was like, I don't fit anywhere. I don't fit into this industry. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not great at coloring. I'm not great at cutting. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm lost. And she was like, no, you have to keep, like, don't quit. Just do you know? And I'm like, I think I just want to do styling. Like, I love it so much. I have such a passion for it. I just want to do this. And she's like, then do it.
You would find your place.
Yeah, and I did. And thank God. Thank God you said don't quit. And then I was like, you know what? If I'm going to just do styling, I'm going to just do styling. And I'm going to just go for it. And to see my peers on social media saying, I'm going to enter NAHA this year, it's incredibly inspiring. It's incredible. 10 years ago, nobody like me would enter NAHA. Nobody, because only the big people, only the big artists do NAHA. You know, and now when I ask, you know, someone with, you know, that has never done a shoot is going to do NAHA, that's incredible. Just because somebody like them did it. So that is always so inspiring to me.
Now it's going to be so inspiring to others.
I know, right?
You know,
And I was thinking she was like, I couldn't find anything in the industry, and now like the industry's found her,
yeah,
right? And the industry is I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that, but
That's what's so great about social is, like, we were going back there. People tend to think about the negativity of social, and this word disruption. Disruption is a very positive word to me. The industry needed the disruption. It really did. We needed an awakening. So right now we're going through this cycle, and we're just kind of figuring out, where does this fit? Where does it fit? How long is this whole trend going to last? I see it lasting, and I think, if anything, it's really awakened the industry. It's given people an opportunity to really showcase their talent. And I think everybody out there that's listening, when you have an opportunity, I highly recommend you enter NAHA. Obviously, it's about the discoveries that you're going to have as you go through the process of entering. And if you win, that's even better. So congratulations, Sarajane. And now imagine what that's done for you in terms of your career, and how now it's made you much more visible. But I think that's what's brilliant about social, and the fact that it's really created this visual disruption. And it's a positive disruption in terms of the talent that's coming out. And how many people now, take a look at the shows. Let's look at the show floor. Where is everybody? So we really have to understand that the computer's a great resource for us to learn. Yet the most important thing too is, once in a while we have to pick our beautiful selves up, get away from the computer, and get to a live event. So I'm going to ask the listeners, please come to ABS, please come to Premiere, please go to the underground education that seems to be taking over, which I really believe in, and I think it's important. Education, period. Who cares where it comes from? As long as we're supporting each other and we're helping and sharing each other, so we can grow the industry and grow each other. That's so important. That's why I love social.
I was going to say that exact same thing, Sam.
Sorry. Your line.
Church of Sam Villa.
I know.
Oh man.
Well, and today, you look at people, and I really believe your smile is your business card,
right?
And your personality is your logo. And then when people walk away from you and how they've experienced, how they feel, that's going to be your trademark. And now figure that out in social. That's what you ladies have created. Your photos and the things that you produce out there, that's your smile. People look at that, I guarantee you they're going, they're smiling and looking at it, and they love it. And then when they finally get an opportunity to see you guys and meet you guys, that's an opportunity to really build on that trademark of what you're doing. Because I love each and every one of your work and what you're doing, and we need to continue to get it out there. It's the youth that we need to promote. Let's get somebody by our side that's in school, and have them stand by our side, and we embrace them and teach them and give them the guidelines of setting them up to survive. It's just beauty. And it's made me meet people I've never that I've never would have had the opportunity to meet. It's allowed me, it's just beauty. It's allowed me to see places in the world I thought I would never see. It's just beauty. It allowed me to meet my beautiful wife and have a beautiful son. My wife was a model, and in my classes, it's just beauty. So the beauty industry is what it gives to us and what it's done for us and what it's done for me personally. It's given me a life that I'm just so fortunate to have and be surrounded by people that we all care about the same thing, and it's just beauty. It's about the beauty industry.
That's incredible. I feel very fortunate. I think Casey and I and Chris talked about it a little bit last night. Like, I can't believe, and this is going to sound rude or whatever, but I don't care. But we have this dead substance that comes out of our head, and it's created me a career.
Yes.
We have this dead substance that comes out of the hair.
It's just wild that this is our life sometimes, that this is
and
what we get to
it.
do.
That's the best part, right?
Yeah.
Any crazy thing that I can come up with in my head and try and do, and then you can get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to meet all your friends all the time and connect with them.
And that's let's go back to that too. Talk about social media. Let's talk about connections. Let's talk about, listen, this podcast doesn't happen without social media. Like every single person, I reach out to Sam via DMs.
Yeah.
Via that. And even for that, dude, if you want to meet somebody in this industry, DM them. There's not a guarantee they're going to get back to you, but
But most everybody does.
Which is
I
crazy,
send out
right?
messages all the time.
I know.
Tell people how much I like their work, and then it was surprising at first, thinking that people who are bigger names would just I would think that they would just see it and then just go on with their life.
Right.
But then they talk back to you, and then you can have conversations, and everybody's so open and willing and happy, and I'm just so grateful.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think like that. They're afraid because they're like, you know what, these guys are way up here, and they feel that they might not be at that level, and they're afraid to reach out. But you're right. As many people we reach out to, majority of them responded. They open arms. You know what I mean? Engage in conversation. Really, if you had a question, they would help answer it for you. It's just like amazing. The community, our community, it just. Today, it's really changed to where we are helping each other, right? Trying to lift each other up.
Yeah.
And, like when he said, Corey, in the beginning of our conversation, how, like, way back in the day, in the 80s or 90s, the salon across the street is competition, right? So, it's like, a couple of hillbillies trying to go at it, you know what I mean? But, now.
Don't be talking about yourself.
We always talk about ourselves.
It was me and him, the two hillbillies.
Duck Dynasty?
Right, yeah.
I love you guys.
Exactly.
But today, social media has really helped change that perspective. And now, because of the inspiration, because of the Sam Villas that goes out and puts everything out there and shows you and teaches, and now it's infectious, and we're all becoming that way.
I also think we need to be responsible for that, right? Like we all see, particularly on Instagram and recently, and we're going to touch on this and we're going to move, but like there's been a lot of like thickness with it. There's been a lot of heavy there. There's been a lot of negativeness, and I take that really personal, even though it's not about me, because people are now dictating my experience on it. You know what I mean? And I think the reason we left the FB was because we had a positive space where we could share our art. And I'm a little, I don't want to say resentful, that might be overstated, but I'm like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this? I don't care how you think about Sam Villa. I don't care how you think about Casey. And I think that as an industry, we need to be responsible for that. And we need to be responsible to be able to uplift each other and to hold each other accountable to stay in this positive place that we are. This is the best time in the world as a hairdresser as far as like positive interactions. Let's not blow that shit up.
We just have to squash the negativity right away. Like, I'm just not going to let that happen.
Right.
Well, you know what? I can't tell you the formula for success, but I will tell you the formula for failure is trying to please everybody.
Oh my God.
You're just not going to please everybody.
Right.
And this is the thing that bothers me is when I went into a beauty school once, this little girl came up to me. She said, Sam, I've been following you. My mom follows you. She told me to follow you. She goes, but I'm thinking about quitting. And I go, why are you going to quit beauty school? And she said, well, I've been posting my stuff. I started my account, and all I get is negativity. I wouldn't let you cut my hair. I would never come to you as a client. Can you believe that?
No.
And I'm
that
thinking to
breaks my
myself,
heart.
and she started getting teary telling me that. And I told her, look, my dear, don't you? If you choose to do that, that's a game that you're choosing to play. Of course, you're going to get some backlash on it, but you have to let that go. And understand that it's just something that you're going to grow from and continue to do it. Don't give up. But it's just really disappointing how people can push the button and push it, the arrow, and just say that. It just bothers me. It really does. It's like you have to be careful. You'd never known that person that you just sent that note to could have lost a family member that week.
Right.
So we have to be careful.
Completely.
Yeah,
Completely.
and if I'm not your cup of tea, then
Move
I'm not your
on.
cup of
Move on.
tea. You
Change
don't-
the channel.
Thanks,
You don't have to
yeah,
hate on
move
me.
on.
You know.
Yeah,
But-
exactly. So, Miss Sammy Skinner,
Yeah.
I guess welcome back to the conversation.
Yeah, right.
Wallflower.
Well, I'm just listening. So.
Take it all in.
And pretty incredible so far. So, dude, what was your introduction into social media and all that stuff?
Well, I've definitely been on social media. I mean, even since MySpace, I was posting a lot.
Oh, she's a MySpace
Yes,
OG.
I was just going to. Wow.
Real far back.
Yes, I mean, even on MySpace, I posted hair pictures. I utilized Facebook, and I think really when like social media probably took off for me was when I became an artist and when I started teaching. I became a Redken artist for about 4 years ago. So, and that was really when I started pushing social media because I love to educate. So I mean that's what I do when I'm off or when I'm not working or assisting another artist as I'm teaching. And I love teaching in small salons. That's like one of my favorites.
Why is that?
I don't know, because like you just want to touch certain people, and it's nice for them to have somebody to relate to. So in the beginning, that's why I became an educator, was to teach at smaller salons. And
Right.
I think a lot of it was just more of an intimidation factor for me.
Like the bigger salons were more people to impress kind of thing, or more people to
I don't want
touch?
to say impress. I think for me it was just a matter of like gaining the confidence of being a facilitator and being up in front of people. So I really like the small atmosphere, and it's nice to go to small town salons too, where they don't get to do this kind of stuff, and they don't get to meet a lot of people like us. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to go teach there. But I am branching out. I am going a little bit bigger this year and teaching at some bigger salons. I'm very nervous about it, but I've been taking a ton of facilitation classes to
Good for
help
you,
me
Sammy.
out there. Chris Moody, Chris Barron.
Data girl?
Yeah, they're
You're in great
amazing.
hands right there.
Yeah.
I took a facilitator class once with Sam V and Chris Barron.
Oh, which one was that?
Probably main stage.
was main
That's how we
stage.
did it.
Yeah.
So
Main
I
stage,
did
yeah.
center stage last
Center
year, and then I just did Chris
center
Camp
stage,
this
that's what
year.
it
is.
Yeah,
Center
center
stage.
stage.
At the
Center stage
exchange,
last
right?
year.
They still have that at the
Yes,
exchange,
they
right?
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the most incredible class. It is the most incredible class ever.
And I'm so proud of the fact that you did that, because it's one thing to be two-dimensional, but when you get in front of people, okay, it's a matter of, okay, let's teach what it is that I actually post. And I think as far as any influencers are out there, please, let's get yourself to some facilitation classes. Do what Sammy's doing, because I think that's what's going to move you, really set you up to be comfortable in those larger salons.
And it's really nice that the brands are starting to own that a little bit, the facilitation. And also we want to give a big shout out to Ben Mullen, because Ben Mullen
Yes.
is doing that
Yeah.
now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's doing the facilitator. He's doing the what's it call it? The
Ben Mullen Project.
the
Yeah.
Ben Mullen project. Yeah, which is just incredible. And he's got a way of kind of teaching you by getting on you, by putting the pressure on you. But at the end of the day, you're 1,000 times better. And he also kind of, which I found interesting, and I didn't know this as a speaker or whatever, but he kind of gives you a story to always fall back on. Right, so you write this part of your story. So if you ever get caught up on stage or whatever, you just go, oh, well then there was that time, which is a conversation that you're really comfortable with. I think that's an incredible technique, that he teaches. Anyway,
I think
don't
it's
know
really
why.
important to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Let people know that
Yes.
everyone's nervous.
Yeah.
You
It's
only
okay.
learn from it.
We
Admit
watched
it sometimes.
we watched Casey get vulnerable, and then the entire crowd was
Cheered her
cheering her
on.
on.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, gosh,
they
yeah.
were nuts. Yeah.
I just had to
Great.
stop, but I was like, guys, I'm just so nervous. I need to tell you. And
then
then I
That's
can let it
great.
go.
Yes.
And everybody cheered. And
Yes.
it was the
So-
best feeling.
so,
and I
uh,
was like, all right, we're on the
Just
same page
addressing
now.
it.
Sam and
Yes.
Sam, we did an event with these two ladies back in early April. With the event was called Presley Poe and Friends, and
Oh, Presley was telling me about it last night.
it was so dope.
So much
we went to,
fun.
and again, talk about small. We went to a small town.
Right.
We did it in a really small town. It happens to be our small town, but we did it in a really small town. And we brought Presley Poe to this small town, right? And then Casey and Sarah were able to join us for that. And it was really cool. And like you said, like our industry wants to cheer each other on. That's what they want to
My
do.
favorite part.
Totally. So I'll applaud you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, here.
Here.
So next year we'll bring them Sam and Sam. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm in.
Sammy.
I'll do
in.
it.
Sorry.
I'm in. See, that's the thing, is that I'm affiliated with a brand, yet I'm not. And that's what's so great, is I don't want to be locked into one thing, and the brand respects that. They understand it, and that's what I love about this whole idea of let's just get out there and teach and educate.
Sam, do you think that that's for so many years the brands, I don't want to say controlled the narrative, but held the narrative? So do you think that that's changing, and that they're allowing the artists to be more artists even outside of the brands?
I think they're freaking out. Honestly, they are freaking out in terms of what are they going to do, because they're trying to hold on to their artist, and so I think that they're also understanding the influencer game and bringing in the influencers and embracing them, which I think is important. They have to. Let me say it this way: a lot of requests for in-salon classes now are not from the Redken Arts Network. It is now from influencers. Salons want these influencers teaching them, which I think is awesome. So the manufacturers, I think, right now are trying to figure things out, and they will at some point. But I also believe that that's still relevant in today's world. That whole game of their stable of artists, every manufacturer having their stable.
Sure.
The Ulta team, and what they're doing. Everybody, there's room for everybody.
Right.
So we have to continue to keep telling ourselves that. But what we need to do is make that, like you were saying earlier, there needs to be that connection between the influencers and manufacturers, and I'm beginning to see that happen.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about it last night. I truly think if the brands and the tribes can remove the ownership or the egos and still be a part of it, but allow the hairdressers to come together as a community without we're here, you guys are there, that type of competition, allow the hairdressers to become the community. I think they could still kind of be a huge part of it, you know what I mean, and lift all of us up together. And I think because for so long it's we got this team, we got this tribe, you know what I mean, and that separation in this huge independent movement or this underground education movement is what I mean, it's definitely disrupting. You said it's a good thing, but I think once they learn how to be a part of this, it'll it'll change.
It's interesting, Tony, because what you say, I really believe that we moved to an experience economy. And the millennials have driven it for the last 10, 12 years. An example, my wife said, let's go see Bohemian Rhapsody on a big screen. And I thought, that is a great idea. I haven't been to a movie theater in 5 years, honey, let's go. There's a company over there that's taken over movie theaters, and they don't own brick and mortar. They're called Netflix. So the AMC theaters and these people said, we need to get our customers back. So I walked into the theater, and I elbowed my honey. I said, look, I can buy a beer.
Yeah.
So I went and got a beer, Casey.
Bar
and
in
then
the movie is the best
isn't that
idea.
great? And then they put this red band on me. It kind of glowed. And I go, what's the red band for? So I can find you to see if you'd like another beer. You're only allowed
Stop.
two.
I haven't been to one. Where'd you
and
go?
then I went and I'll tell you. And
We
then
need to go.
I said, well, I understand. I can only have two. I respect that. I'm in a movie theater. So then I walk in thinking I'm going to find 200 seats. There were 90 recliners. It's in
That's
Fleming
nice.
Island, Florida. And I go, wow. So I kicked back my chair like home. That girl came and found me. Would you like your second beer? And then she wants some nachos. And I'm going, look at my wife. I'm like, this is so
What
cool.
service?
Then we laughed. And I said, now that was an experience. So you see, AMC figured it out. Now we need to do that in salons. Figure that out. How are you going to create an experience? This is what social has done. It's created a disruption because it's a total different experience for the industry. And we have to continue to think about that. In salons, how do you create an experience? What I'm suggesting is get the phones. Everybody's got it in their hand. So grab the client's phone, put it on a little monkey tripod, and videotape the blow dry tutorial that you're giving the client. Now
Oh,
hand the
that's
phone
good.
back, Casey, and you tell them, Louise, here's your own YouTube tutorial. You're the star. I'm the star. Put me on your vanity every morning, and I'll be there with you, coaching you how to blow dry your hair.
I love that.
That's the
That's
wave
great.
of the future. That's an experience in a salon. And, we got to figure this out. I think what everybody needs to do, stop, take a deep breath. Let's stand upright together. Let's hold each other's hand and stop complaining about the big brands out there that we tend to think that are taking over. There's plenty for everybody.
It's true.
I love that, man.
Preach.
Preach. It's actually cool too. Like
Is it Sunday?
Sunday. It is today.
Sunday. It's Sunday every day with Sam.
Preach it. Preach it. It's actually cool because like we get to when you come to these events and stuff, you do the after parties, and then you kind of see where the people in the industry want to end up. Like we've done a couple after parties this weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Somebody might have held me in a corner last night, but it's really cool because it was all the brands being not being represented by the people at those parties, right? It was just the people of the industry. It was just those that slayed it all day on the floor, and just how they got together and how they interacted, and there wasn't kind of that tribalism. And I look back and I go, that's freaking rad.
Yes.
Well,
It's
yeah.
And when I went back to like even when I said like with the narrative, like I kind of feel like the narrative is in this. I think this is what the manufacturers are figuring out, is that the narrative should be with us.
Yes.
The narrative should be, we should be dictating where Casey Powell, blew up social media a year ago with her incredible looks. Like that should be it. It shouldn't. It for me, in what I would like to see for the industry is not to say like this brand is featuring this and this brand's featuring that, and then this is the look of the season. Like we should be creating the look of the season through ourselves. And by the way, it's great because no matter how big a manufacturer is, there's only so many artists there to kind of to collaborate to see what the look's going to be. But now there's millions and millions of hairdressers. Like it's almost like Instagram's like the big brand. right? Ultimately,
Right.
they're the big brand, and our inspiration comes from millions of hairdressers. I mean, I've never been in one of those collaboration rooms. I'm sure Sam has been. But, like, what are those conversations? Well, there's only 10 heads there, 10 thinking heads. Now, those could be great thinking heads, but that doesn't necessarily dictate what the entire industry is going to be doing.
Yeah, well, now I think that we can influence brands.
Yeah.
You are.
Instead
That is,
of
yes, that
you-
is what's happening.
Where they were dictating everything before, now they're seeing what we're doing, and then they're incorporating that into their brands.
Absolutely.
Well, and they have their main artists, like for so long, like you guys were saying, you've got this group over here, the artists have been doing it for 20 years, and then you have this group over here who's only been doing it for 5, but they have a huge, reach on social, and they're coming together and they're realizing, oh, you guys can learn from each other, and you're collaborating, like what we're doing with Chris this weekend. That's
the word
exactly
of the
what we're
day.
doing. Like
Collaboration.
he's collaborating with an artist that hasn't been in the industry for 20 plus years, so you guys can create something new and fresh. And I think that's really important. Like, don't just stand behind those people who've only been doing it for 20 years. Get together with these influencers and learn from each other. Like, it needs to come together. For sure.
It is. I think it is. It definitely is. I mean, you're seeing it. And every time we do one of these shows, you see it kind of like getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
In that sense, Listen, we need the brands,
Yes.
but we need each other.
Yeah.
Well said.
And that's once we kind of, as an industry, once we kind of figure that out, it's going to be powerful,
Yeah,
man.
just
Be a
remove
beautiful
ownership. Yeah, you just got to remove the ownership. Like, I own you, and so you remove that and allow you to be you, and we can
Well, I
work
think when
together.
anybody feels free to be themselves, that they are able to create better work.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I mean, that's very well stated. That's awesome, man. So now that we've branded it out, what
Sam's like, man, what are y'all getting me into? Come on, man. I'm
This
joking.
just whatever.
This is all good.
What do you? Let's kind of talk. Like, we talked a little bit. I think we talked about this off air. But like, there's these little, like, we have Jacksonville killing it, right? We have Portland, Oregon killing it. We have Kansas City killing it. We have Salt Lake City killing it. Why is this happening? Why are these like little cities like just creating these incredible artists? And
I mean, I wonder if it is because of social media. Like, it's not that it hasn't been there before, or there wasn't that creativity there before, but now we see it, and now we can be a part of it because it's available to us, right? Like, wouldn't that? I mean,
so
I feel like
are you kind of saying that like now because Sarajane is visible now, it's like, oh, I want to reach out to her?
it's not
that
that,
kind of
I'm
thing?
saying the smaller towns are maybe like these little pockets are happening, but maybe it's always been happening, but now it's just more visible to us because social is so big.
That's fair.
And
It's
there's
kind of made the world a smaller place.
exactly.
And social,
no
I
doubt.
think, too, it just makes us feel more comfortable, and it gives us a safe place to create when you are from those, like, smaller towns. Or do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It's almost like a safe space, right?
Yeah.
And you can just kind of put your work out there and be seen.
Well, imagine it. You're on your own, or maybe a couple people you're collaborating with. You don't have anybody handcuffing you or saying, no, you can't do it that way. That's what's so great about it, the fact of what it's done. But what I love about these hotbeds is, once again, it's going back to giving people an opportunity to really create a sense of exposure for themselves through social. And I just can't believe the hidden talent out there and how social has allowed us to open our eyes huge.
Not so hidden anymore.
No, that's exactly right. And it's so well deserving. So well deserving. I totally agree with you, Sarajane. I've been doing this for over 40 years, and people go, when are you going to stop? I think
Never.
there's going to come a time when people go, I've seen Sam, he does the same thing. I get that. I get it. It's very difficult to try and invent yourself. I can't come up with a hit song every year. I try to do the best I can. But what I'm more concerned about is just, I'm not an inventor. I'm not a rock star. I'm not a genius. I'm a teacher. I'm a messenger. And that's what how I chosen to brand myself. And through the means of social has really, really opened up that avenue.
On that note, Sam, so you've sat on a stage at these type of events, I don't know, for 20 years or so. Since 2014, I don't know why I'm giving it that year, but the year of Instagram, right? Like how have you seen it from standing on a stage and kind of overlooking the entire thing? What changes have you seen? Have you seen any changes? Like, what's that conversation like?
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of changes, and the one concern I have as a change is the attendance at these live events. going back to that.
You think it's going down?
Yeah, I think it's going down. And, there's a time in this show I couldn't walk from A to B to C, and now I don't have a problem getting from A to B to C, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. So I think that's if there's a concern I have. Now the other side of it is I'm so excited about what it's done for the industry in terms of how it's just opened up a lot of floodgates, for everybody, and those floodgates are awesome in terms of what it's done. But I really think that people need to understand the computer can't touch your heart. You can't ask the computer questions. So that's why it's so important. Use the resource of a computer, but, pick your beautiful self up and get to an event.
It doesn't give good hugs.
Yeah. Thank you. Casey, where have you been?
Yes.
Boom! But the idea
I like
was, too,
hugs.
is when you go to these events, the people that you meet. I was doing a class with Michael Cole, and this girl raised her hand. She said, nobody comes to none of my salon comes to these classes, and I'm concerned. And then when I go back, they ask me how was the class, and I said, do you share with them? She goes, yes. I go, good. Pay it forward. She goes, but I'm frustrated that nobody comes, and then they want me to teach them. I said, me and you right now. I said, you're in the wrong space. Why are you there?
You got to
Why
find
are
the
you
people
there?
that are doing those same
And
things.
I said, I guarantee before you leave this room, there's 200 people in the room, you're going to have some job offers. And sure enough, before she left, she said, you're right. I've had 3 salon owners come up and would want to talk to me. I said,
That's
now
amazing.
that's why it pays off for you to come to a live event. Had you not come to this event, that would never have happened.
That's true.
True.
Yeah, and networking and meeting the people that you're watching and you're seeing, or you know what I mean. The people, there's nothing can replace coming live.
Yes.
I've been in places where no one else is interested in the same things and wanting to go and learn, and it's really discouraging. And then it would take me to a place where I wasn't excited about work, and I wasn't excited to do the things that I freaking love to do all the time. And you just have to get away from that, and you have to find your people.
Find your tribe.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
And we've found
Look at
found ours.
these people
Yeah.
at this table.
Yep.
It's the
They're my
Jacksonville
people.
tribe.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see Sam is now
Last-
too.
You know what? We're going to get together. I'm going to
Yes.
surprise you guys
Yes,
and walk in
neighbor.
your salons. Last night, or was it yesterday, I went to a main stage event because I want to get to hear people. And I love Lala's updos. And I love
Oh,
her.
Lala's great.
Is it Lala? But
Yes.
what I loved was I went and sat in there, and she told her story, Sammy. I'd never heard her story, where she came from.
It's amazing.
What she's done. Oh, Sarajane. I was in tears backstage.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, my God. But I would never have known that. I would have only known her visually through social had I not come. Now, what that story, what it did for me, I have much more respect for her.
Yeah.
And now I want to encourage more people to follow her based on the fact that I saw her live versus social.
Amazing.
And that just touched me. Now, I could not have been touched had I not been there live.
And like I'm way more shallow than you guys.
No kidding.
I just want to meet Philip Wolf. Right, and at these events, like those people that you do get to see on it. To me, it's like the celebrity of it. Like what Instagram has done is it's made, there's not 4 celebrities anymore.
No.
There's lots of celebrity. And I hate to use that word because I think it's weird in our space. But let's be honest, that's what it is. You know what I mean? I just want to come and meet those guys. I kind of want to and by the way.
And pick their brains. And
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I just want to take a picture with them, Jane, but you do whatever you do.
You and everyone else.
But whatever your style is or whatever attracts you, you can actually physically, be there with them. You know what I mean? And and everybody has a different, favorite.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
everybody's taste is a journey in this industry.
Yeah.
My taste has changed over the years. I love frizz now. 30 years
Same.
ago. Oh, I love frizz.
I have to show you my NAHA collection for 2020.
Ooh, don't show it to him. I'll be judging that category.
Oh.
I don't want to see it.
Oh my God.
So,
Well, when you
So
see the frizzy
exciting.
one, give it a thumbs up.
oh, I will. But see, back 25 years ago, frizz was nasty to me. But now my taste, I embrace it. I love it, So taste is a journey in this industry.
Yeah. I used to hide all my bobby pins. You couldn't see a single one.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
they're
Now they're
everywhere.
visible.
Yes.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Now they're the spotlight, right?
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? What do you think that is? Like, what do you like? What do you hate now? Because it's going to be popular tomorrow, right? Like,
Well, Sarajane, I'm always inspired by how loose and all the texture and everything she does, and that's just, even though we've worked together for so long, that's just not my style. I I want things to be
Structure.
very structured and like to know it's never going to move because a big part of my business is being in weddings. So I have to make that stuff last for like 12 hours or more. And then I look at Sarajane stuff and I'm just like, oh, I just really want to try this loose stuff.
I'm like, just shake her head around and
And
make
I
it
was like,
frizzier.
oh my
It's
God.
better that way.
And then I did it and it was the most amazing thing.
Yeah, so it was fun.
very freeing.
The other day, Erica did my hair, and so what we do
Erica
is whenever
Keelan?
Eric Keelan did my hair, and so we always get together when we do like a big project. In case he'll come and style it, and we'll take photos, and we'll have
hang out.
hang out.
Content day.
And she did this beautiful braid, and I was like, I saw this thing on Instagram the other day, and what she did after she did a style is she shook her head upside down, and then she took photos of it too, so she had 2 different styles.
Love it.
And I was like, I'm gonna shake my head upside down. And
And
Casey
I
was
had
like,
a little mini panic
don't
attack.
do it. And then it was the best photo out of the whole 30 minutes
Isn't
of
that
us
great?
shooting.
Yes.
And I was like, just shake your head around.
spontaneous
Yes,
moment.
absolutely.
Love
And it was
that.
perfect.
Kind of see like now I kind of want to like go in between like Casey's sculptures. I kind of want to go like this in between each of the
Right?
bobby pins and
Yeah.
just create like big S shapes.
See, and
That's
now,
part of it.
Casey's cringing.
I know. I did physically move away.
but
from
it's
the
the frizz and the structure together makes
Yes.
something totally new,
That's right.
Right.
which is so exciting, which is my favorite part of the
Sarah
whole
Jane,
thing.
you're gonna have to do that for us.
I'll do
You're,
it.
you're the only one that's gonna get away with it.
I love it. Me and Sam.
That's
Sam
right.
and I.
I love that.
The frizz.
Sam and I.
Yes.
I love
Sam and
that.
I.
I like that.
Yes.
We got a Sam and I and a Sammy.
All right.
Yes.
Well, just
funny.
like fashion designers, they understand the limits and capabilities of silk, of wool, and how they're intermixing these fabrics together. It's the same thing that we have to do. We have to embrace fine hair, embrace natural curl, embrace frizz, embrace beautiful silky hair, but understand that each texture responds differently. But yet, with the tools that are available to us today and how we work with them and what we do, we can alter textures in various ways.
Okay, thank God for your texture iron. I use
Oh,
it every
thank
single
you,
day
Sarah
of
Jane. We
my
love it.
life. I use it in every style I do. And at Braid,
It's true.
there's not a single person I don't use it on.
It's amazing. That tool came to me when I went to Sweden to go do a show, and then I researched Sweden fine hair. So I thought, researched the salon, and I thought, this guy's really good. So I went to go visit him, and I thought, can I just watch? And he said, sure, of course you can. Where are you from? I said, the States. I didn't tell him what I was there for or anything. He said, sure. I saw him take out, this was 1981, and he took out this little narrow thing, and I thought, well, that looked like a flat iron. But then I saw him, he did a roller set, 1981, did a roller set, took out the roller, took this little thing and started doing it at the base. And I go, what are you doing? He goes, well, we have Scandinavian hair. It's fine. He goes, so I had a machinist take a flat iron and make me a mini crimping iron. And he put the rails close together. And I was like, genius. And then he went in at the
Genius.
base and he did that. He goes, now the roller sets last more than a week. And so I made a note of that, thought if I ever get in the tool business, that's the first thing I'm going to come out with, because that changes the texture of hair. That's why it's called a texture iron, not a mini crimping iron.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Bomb.
Change the
Right.
game.
Game
changer.
Sammy Skinner. So, what's next for like inspiration wise? Like, what's next? Where do you see? What are you gonna do? What's out there that you want to attack? What's inspiring you, kiddo?
Well, Sarajane always inspires me. Casey always inspires me. Like all the girls in Jacksonville. I love Studio Sage, like I said, because they're just so awesome there, and they give me a safe place too, which is awesome. But I think what's next for me is I am going to shoot NAHA this year.
Oh, give me some.
Yes,
Yeah,
girl.
give everybody
Get
some.
it.
Yes,
the
Air
table.
fives around the table.
So I've really I did a big shoot this year, and I don't know, that's my happy place. I feel like that's what I love, and just diving a little bit more into education as well,
For that.
But
Well, you're gonna do the
besides-
big salons and stuff, right?
yeah, and I really for me, like, I never have a set end goal. I set small goals and kind of work towards them slowly. That's just how. That's what works for me.
right.
I try not to dream too big in the beginning. Just to
Just kind of
things
see where the
real.
path leads
Yes,
you.
and that's the other thing too, is like everything evolves. I feel like everything just changes over time, especially like for hairdressers. Like just me starting out as a hairdresser and then becoming an educator and then moving into this. So it's just see where it takes me.
I like how like you were like, we'll just do small goals just to see. I think the important thing, whether it's big goals or whether it's little goals, is just stay on the path.
Absolutely.
And just the little
yes.
goals would just kind of like, keep moving that path along.
You just kind of find your way. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Sammy, a lot of people out there in social, doing a photo shoot. I get them, they go, Sam, I can't afford to do a photo shoot. Talk to me about that in terms of their, the cost and
We were just having that
involved.
conversation
I
earlier.
would
Oh,
love
yes.
to talk about this because
Yes.
there's a ton of people who think it's really expensive.
True, right?
And honestly, it's not. Like, Sammy knows this. I mean, it's all in what you want to make it, However, if you have the drive and the want and the wherewithal to do it, do it. I talked about this on stage in Frederick. I was like, we used one jacket 3 different ways. I found a model who I actually did her wedding, and she did the day for free, and I did her wedding for free. We traded. One of the girls at the salon did the makeup for free that day. She came in for a couple hours. She did it, and then Doreen and I shot, and we used one light, I believe. We spent 8 hours, and we got 6 shots out of it. And
That's great.
it was, if you just if you hire the right people and you find your team that works best with you, you can really do anything. You can do a shoot. It's not that expensive. Sorry to take over.
No,
Sammy.
I agree. No, totally. I mean, and then also there's thrift stores.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I did for the last shoot, and but definitely trading, like offering your services and finding people who want to be there with you all day, finding people that are as obsessed as you too.
I love
Because
that.
It's just it's once you have that energy and you have that team, you don't even care. It's not even about
You don't
the
care how
money.
long it goes
not
on.
work.
You don't.
All of it's
Yeah,
worth
it's
it.
not even. It's just like these are our people. This is
fun.
my shit. This is my jam.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
we're having a good time. So
Yeah, so you don't really need a wardrobe stylist. You know what you want to see.
yes,
Exactly.
yes.
It's just kind of neat, like photographs. The photograph is kind of the end, right? It's like everything that happens before that. That's your vision. That's what you're moving for. And here's the weird thing about photographs. Even like if you're just shooting like off your iPhone or something, it's like create that photo shoot. You don't have to share it. It can be shit, but but if you go through the process, then you're one step
learning.
further along. You're staying on Sammy Skinner's path.
Oh, there's
Right.
tons of shit that I
That
do.
does not see the light of
Never
day.
seasoning me.
You just train in your eye,
Oh, yeah.
right? You train in your eye.
That's you're right. Yeah, it's so true. And the stuff that we're seeing on Instagram or whatever, there could have been 50 photo shoots before anything was posted. And I think people need to know that too, right? There's a process that's the finished product. But there could have been 30 years leading to that one image.
Yeah, there's lots of practice and more
Failures.
practice, and
Yes.
keep doing it over and over and over, and then one day it's good.
Yeah, and be okay when it happens and the mistakes happen or it doesn't look good. Just
the
it's
only
called
way you can learn.
mistake.
Mistake.
So you just do it again. That's what they do in the movie. Let's take it again.
it
Let's
So
take two.
when we talked to Dorina about Sarajane's NAHA award winner, when we talked about those images, like Dorina was telling me that she had this image and what she wanted to produce, and like she had these 3 lights and they were going to do all this stuff, and then apparently one of the lights went dead or something, and she shot with one light down, so it wasn't what she saw, but as soon as she took it, she goes, "That's it."
I
That's
love
it,
that.
right? You just see the image, and that was pretty cool. True story.
Oh yeah, we ended with that
That's
is
great.
exactly right. We loved the misfire so much that we were like, let's scratch this other stuff and just keep going with this. And then ended up being, we did shoot with 2 lighting setups that day, but we ended up going with the misfire.
Yeah. And,
So.
and the important part of that is be flexible, right?
Right.
Be willing to be
Gotta roll with
flexible.
it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Not a lot of times, people might get uptight and it's like, oh, it's ruined, and they put their hands up, or now be
can't
flexible.
quit.
Roll with it.
I don't know if it's ever happened to you ladies, but when I take something down, I'm like, oh, right there. Shoot it.
Yes.
Right
Oh,
there.
yeah,
Ever
we'll
happened to you,
stop.
Sammy? It's like we're taking it down. I'm like, oh, stop. Let's shoot that right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a super type A personality. I like
Really?
things, yeah. You guys know that. I prep for months and months and months and months. But day of shoot, it's really important to know that not everything's going to go by the book the way that you planned it. And that was one of those days, one of those weeks, really. Things just kind of kept messing up, and I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore. Like, I'm so frustrated, I'm so discouraged. But then that's when you have your tribe around you. They're like, no, you're doing it, and we're gonna help you, and we're gonna make it happen. And that's why it's really important to have your tribe around you.
I learned, Tony and I used to work for a great guy named Reg Laws. And Reg, he owns like 14 salons now in DC or something. Anyways, he has a very large chain, and we work for him. And he's the kind of guy that, like, he doesn't talk a whole lot, but when he does, you should listen. You know. And he gave me two things that I'll live with forever. And on this point, he said that there's never been a live event in the history of man that's gone as planned. You know. So don't give the plan the energy. Give the room the energy, or wherever you are, right?
So
and
prep as much as you can, but on that day, let go.
Let it go.
Oh,
let it go.
love
And the second thing that he taught me, and still to this day, and especially as an independent hairdresser, it's way relevant, is he said that whenever you throw color in the trash can, nobody makes money. Right? He's not making money. The hairdresser's not making money. The only people that do are the manufacturers. You know, and why are we giving the manufacturer more money than we need to? And and to this day, like, I weigh and I reweigh and I weigh and I reweigh just so I have the perfect
the
stuff.
way you thought about it.
Completely.
Yeah.
You know, now when I throw color away, dude, it like bums me out. I'm like, Redkin.
I love it. So what's the odds of one day maybe seeing all four of you guys collabing together?
Let's make it happen.
Oh, I'd love that.
Odds are
I'm
high.
More than anything.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Would love for that to
Dream
happen.
come true.
Shit, how are we going to get to Jacksonville?
Yeah, we
Come
yeah.
and visit us, boys.
Let's do something in Jacksonville, man.
Yeah.
Let's do
Why don't we?
a friends thing in Jacksonville. Get
Presley
people
Poe
there.
Friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would
Let's
be
make it
right.
happen.
That would be
Sam Via and
amazing.
friends?
Yeah, Sam Via.
We could get
and friends.
Dorina and
Yeah, we can-
Erica and the
yeah.
girls at CSH. I mean,
Yes.
If you're
Laura.
not in Jacksonville, you can't. Yeah, we'll come and hang out, and we'll definitely be a part of it and help. But yeah, have all the Jacksonville artists on
Yep.
stage there. That's
Well, people keep telling me, you live in Jacksonville, you don't do anything for us in Jacksonville. And it's like, I would love to. I mean, I would love to.
I pay a lot of airport taxes in Jacksonville.
Yeah, 'cause we put on so what we did in Frederick, and so maybe we can do this in Jacksonville. So what we did was we put on a show, right? The next day, all the artists that was on the stage did hands-on classes.
Love it.
With it,
And we backed them up together.
and we backed them up, and so that way, those that maybe couldn't afford, or not necessarily couldn't afford, but they couldn't do the hands-on class, at least they got a piece of from the show. But that, if you went to the show and you was like, oh wow, I'd like to learn that, then you can go the next day and actually literally do it. It was just phenomenal. But so yeah, let's try to do something like that in Jacksonville.
Love
I think
to.
that'd be
That'd be
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, I think, it's a hotbed.
Yeah.
And it serves it. I mean, people are like, why are shows always in the big cities? They
Yeah.
don't need to be in the big cities anymore. They really don't.
Awesome. All right, so
Let's bring the stars to the small town,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and that was kind of that was our goal with Presley Poe and Friends. It's like let's bring those faces that you see into the small towns, and let's impact those that, if they can't make it to premiere, like you were saying
Right.
earlier, let's bring the show to you.
Yeah.
You know.
I love it.
all right,
I love that
so
idea.
we're gonna start working on that.
Done.
Yes.
We love it. All
I'm
right,
in. I'm in.
Jacksonville, here we come.
Florida
What's
represents
in the water?
what's in the water in Jacksonville, Florida. Apparently, it's
Awesome.
the beer, Casey.
Well, yeah.
No, it's the beer at the movie theaters, right?
Intuition.
Yes.
Intuition.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
so
so good.
as we wrap up, can each one of you guys let our audience know again how they can follow you, how they can find you, and start with you, Miss.
So you guys can follow me at Blush and Maine on Instagram, Facebook, every platform that you can find. Casey?
Anything you can think of. And I am on Instagram as Updo Guru.
Isn't it weird when you have to introduce somebody by their handle?
Right.
It happens so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I always am just like, oh, hey, I'm Casey. And then I forget, and then we talk for a minute, and I'm like, I did the bobby pins. It's Updo Guru. And then they're like, oh, I know who you are. And so I need to get better at being like Updo Guru right away.
During Presley Poe and Friends, there was an artist in the bar area. There was a lot after so after the event, Sam, everybody went to the theater bar, and there was like this big mix and mingle. So like you know now you get to hang out with those people on the stage, and it's like it's on a very human level.
Love
you know,
it.
and it was really really cool. But Ruby Devine was, bless her, she came to the show, and
So
she was
much
kind
fun.
of yeah
I
she's
love
a blast.
her.
But she came and she wasn't on stage. She was in her audience, and then she was sitting there, and there was this other young hairdresser, and she's talking to Ruby for like 10 minutes. She goes, "Oh my God, I didn't realize I was talking to Ruby Devine for 10
Right.
minutes." It was so cool. It was like, bing.
I
like
love
that.
when that happens.
That's so cool. Sam Villa, where can we find you, sir?
Sam Via Hair,
Uh-huh.
Instagram, and then YouTube. Let's see, Sam Via Hair, Facebook Sam Via Professional, and YouTube Sam Via Hair.
Sammy Skinner.
Yeah, Sammy Skinner Hair on Instagram, Sammy Skinner on Facebook, and yeah, that's it.
And you can also find Sammy Skinner in a bigger salon near you.
Coming soon.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you so much for
guys.
having
We're
us.
going to make
Yeah.
Jacksonville show happen.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you
Totally
guys
down.
for what you're doing and giving the opportunity for people to really kind of the exposure. And number one, number two is allowing your audience to hear from these ladies and what's happening out there. And thank you, thank
Sam,
you.
thank you. That you have no idea what those words means to us. The people of Jacksonville, the artist of Jacksonville. Thank you very much for joining us on your day off. Hey, so there it is. Hey, this is a message that we've been trying to bring, I don't know, for the last couple months, actually since we started the podcast. Hey, so if you like the podcast or if you find that it's useful, please leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave us a rating and a review.
But if you don't like it, forget about it.
Yeah, totally forget about this message. We also want to thank Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine, they are a band out of Portland, Oregon, and we just want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their song, Pleased to Meet You, on our podcast. That's cool. I think you can find, actually you can find their music on iTunes.
Peace and hair grease.